You ready, clerk? Evening, everybody. If you'd please stand with me. Clerk, would you mind starting us with prayer?
Sure. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you we can come together this evening to accomplish the business of Hampshire County. Thank you for the blessings of living here. We thank you for the wonderful weather you've blessed us with the last day or so, and look forward to spring coming. Heavenly Father, as we again consider the business in front of us, we just ask your guidance and pray that all will be said and done to glorify you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. And now if you'll please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everybody to our regular scheduled Hampshire County Commission meeting, Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. And I will call our meeting to order, and the first item of business was the minutes. The commissioners did have a digital copy to review beforehand, so I would entertain any comments needed, corrections needed, or a motion to approve those as presented at this time.
I would move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the minutes, or previous meeting minutes, be approved as presented. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
Mr. President, could I ask, is that all three sets of minutes, including the two special meetings?
The motion didn't specify, so I'll ask Commissioner Mance, would you like for that motion to be for the two short meetings that we held as well, or do we want to have separate motions?
Yeah, I think we probably just need to rerun the motion. I would move that we approve all three sets of minutes as presented.
Thank you.
Okay, and I would second that motion.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that all three sets of minutes from our previous meetings be approved as presented. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
Thank you.
All right, we will now move on to the president's and commissioners' reports. And excuse my voice is a little scratchy, but it's getting better. But you'll just have to work with me. It's my voice isn't the normal. As far as the president's report, I couple things to go over, and then a couple things that I was to report on. I believe we can report in the agenda as well. So I'll start out. First of all, the Board of Equalization and Review meetings we've held over the past 4 to 5 weeks. Citizens have that opportunity every year at the beginning of the year. Those are over now, and that went very smoothly. I wanted to report on, obviously, Commissioner Mance and myself over the past 2 meetings went through the process of selecting a new commissioner for previous Commissioner Cannon's open seat, and I would like to welcome Mr. Brian Brill to the table here this evening for his first regular scheduled commission meeting, and very thankful that he stepped up to take the spot, and I think he'll do a wonderful job, and I just wanted to take this second here to formally welcome him here this evening.
Thank you, Commissioner Eglinger and Commissioner Mance, for this opportunity. I look forward to working with the folks of Hampshire County, working with you two gentlemen, and doing good things. So thank you again for the opportunity, and really looking forward to it.
Okay, and also, since our board is of commissioners here is 2/3 of the way new here in the last month and a half, I did rework our board assignments over the past couple weeks, and I distributed those assignments to both commissioners. And again, we were 2/3 new here, so I really that they'll probably be much different than across the board than what we've seen in the past. So I did ask both commissioners to be calling the board presidents or directors, letting them know, that they'll be the person of contact or the person to work with from the commission on those specific boards. And as you guys know, some of those boards are extremely involved county-wise. Some not as much, and some are just quarterly or even yearly appointments. But anyway, just letting the different boards we work with across the county know that all three commissioners will be in contact and letting you know who you'll be working with as far as our different boards across the county. There are a couple other boards, gentlemen, that are not on our list there. These are ones that meet pretty seldom, and I will add those here in the next week to our list, but the clerk had pointed out there that there is a couple more that I should designate there between the three of us, so I will get that done. But they were boards that don't meet on a regular basis. So again, I worked on that. Had a Hampshire County Emergency Services Agency meeting that I attended last week, and new Chief Hamrick is doing very well with the HCESA. They will implement their new schedule coming up, I believe, here soon at the end of this month, actually, so there's only a few days left, but we'll implement that new schedule, and he reported that seems to be a popular decision overall, and it's definitely a more economical approach. So several new things going on with HCSA, and it all seems to be positive so far. They are working on their updating their bylaws, and I believe that's not on the agenda this evening, gentlemen, but that will be coming to us in the near future. I also attended the North River Valley Fire Department appreciation dinner there Sunday, and I was honored to be able to swear those guys' oath of office in for them, and just wanted to note that a very active little fire department out there, and I was impressed with the number of young folks that have joined up out there. So that was a nice thing to be able to go to in the county there. Sunday afternoon. That's all I have for now, so I will pass the floor on to Commissioner Mance for his report.
Actually, I just really wanted to take just a second again to congratulate and welcome Mr. Brill. The communications I've had and the stuff I've worked on, I think can be covered during the agenda. So.
Okay, Commissioner, thank you, and I will pass the floor along to Commissioner Brill.
All right. I don't really have a whole lot to report as far as that goes. I have not attended any meetings yet. I do have my assignments and looking forward to getting to work with those boards. And as I do so, I will follow up and be certain to report at future meetings. And again, just thank both of you gentlemen for the opportunity to be able to work with you guys.
Excuse me. Okay, thank you, Commissioner Brill. We're running slightly ahead of schedule. We have a gentleman from Congressman Riley Moore's office here with us this evening. And I believe he came up to me before the meeting and asked if he could have a couple minutes, so I'm going to give this time here during the commissioners' reports if he'd like to come up and talk to the body.
I'll just stand if that's all right, President Epplinger. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the commission, Commissioner Mance as well, and also Brill. My name is Rhett Dusenberry. I'm a district area representative for Congressman Riley Moore. Hampshire County is one of the counties that I'll be fortunate to serve. Congratulations on your new additions. I'm sure they're going to do a wonderful job. You can just tell they're enthusiastic and ready to go. On behalf of Congressman Moore, he sends his greetings, and I've given you information sheets that you can get in touch with us. I've also given one to the clerk and spoken with him, and I have one for Commissioner Mance that he will pass on to him. The congressman's always ready, willing, and able to help any way he can with grant, letters of support, community funding, and also my understanding he's going to be doing congressional designated spending as well. But I just wanted to come introduce myself, and interestingly enough, I have a tie to the community. I'm looking forward to being as service to you as much as possible here in Hampshire County. So please feel free to contact me anytime. You have my email addresses, phone, or either one of our offices. And if I can be of assistance, please just reach out and let me know. Thank you for giving me the time, and congratulations again. Thank you, sir.
We appreciate you making yourself available, sir. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yes. Thank you.
Here to serve the people. Yes, sir.
Okay, next we have Ms. Barbara Fortner, Telemon Corporation, National Farm Workers Job Program. Would you like to come up, ma'am?
Have some information for you first.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would have brought you yours. Here's one for the gentleman on the TV. Did you have all that chest and stuff?
Yeah, I've had the congestion, been battling that here for a while, so hopefully my voice will last for the meeting.
Okay. My name is Barb Fortner, and I work at Telemon, which is in Moorfield. And we do the National Farm Workers Jobs Program, or NFJP. That is a federally funded program through the Department of Labor to work with farm workers. It could be seasonal farm workers, migrant farm workers that go from job to job, or anybody that is involved in any kind of agriculture or farm work like working in the fields and picking the fruit, working at Pilgrims because they deal with the raw poultry that qualifies them for our program. I mean, what we do is we work with them to get them, education or training, either to find a new job or if they need some training for the current job they're in. Before I started, because I haven't been there that long, but before I started, there was a farm that had equipment, but the employees they had couldn't run it because nobody had their CDLs, so the NFJ program sent them to school, sent some employees to school to get their CDLs to help on the farm. We work with anybody in the family that's 14 or older, as long as themselves or a spouse, a parent, or guardian is involved in farm work. And for example, I just enrolled a couple weeks ago a 15-year-old from Grant County who, because his parents owned a farm, but they work outside and they were technically over income, but because the parents paid him to help on the farm, I was able to enroll him just based on his income, which of course qualified him for that program. And anyone that is 14 to 24 in the program is considered a youth. We do have youth incentives, like if they have a meeting with me as their career advisor every month, then every 3 months they would be due a $50 incentive. If they don't have their driver's license when they get their driver's license, that's a $50 incentive. If they have a C average that semester, they get $50 for that. So there's a lot of, when they graduate from high school, they get $100. And like I said, anything that's, planting crops, harvesting fruits and vegetables, taking care of livestock, working in greenhouses, working at the this little farmer's market that's up here on the hill. Anybody that helps with that would qualify for the program. And the goal is, like I said, to help them either find better employment or help them be able to get promotions or, get more money at where they are. And the NFJP program has been around since 1964 when President Johnson declared his war on poverty, and his goal was to not only cure poverty, but to prevent it. And that is where NFJP got its start from. We feel that our program benefits not only the farm workers, but also the community, because if we have people that are making more money and better jobs, then they're going to have more money to spend, which will stimulate the economy and the community, help the community as well. So I am asking for your assistance in, getting the word out. If you know of any organizations or any businesses in the area, that may, or any farmers or their children that may benefit from the program, that you pass the information along so that, we can build a stronger and more sustainable workforce and, help the farmers and help the community. Sorry, I just presented at Grant County before I came here, and I told them that was the very first presentation I did, so I still have to use my cheat sheet. But, that is the program, and I will try to answer questions if you have them, because like I said, I haven't been there very long, or you have, my business card is in there if you have any questions later on.
So if we have someone that would have a question about using the program, we could
Yes, please pass it along.
and have them contact you.
In fact, here I have a couple extra packets.
Oh, yep.
You be in charge.
Got it.
Yeah, anything that, any of these type of activities and programs that help with the youth are extremely important.
Yes. Oh, we also help, I think I did forget to mention, see, you reminded me, that if they want to go to college, of course, we'll pay for tuition and things, but like the youth, if there's someone in high school that's interested, like in going to a VOTEC or something, and they want to take welding or like the nursing classes or something that they would need a uniform or supplies or equipment, we can provide them funds to get that stuff. And then tuition, housing. We also do emergency assistance for rent or nutrition, transportation, things like that. So, okay, well, thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please call me.
Actually, ma'am, I do. Have you had any luck, or have you tried to reach directly out to the area high schools?
I
Most
have.
schools
I did meet with the Grant County superintendent the other day, just briefly. I didn't do a big presentation. We just talked about it. I have actually contacted all of the principals through email of all of the high schools in the 5 counties I do, which is Hampshire, Hardy, Pendleton, Mineral, and Grant. I have contacted all the principals at the high schools, and I have heard back from the superintendent and all the superintendents as well. I've heard back from the superintendent at Grant County and the principal at Petersburg. So this week I'm hoping to do some follow-up, because last week I had the funk. So I didn't do too much last week, but I do plan on following up with them. But if you have any connection with them, pass the information on. I would appreciate it.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Clerk Strike, we're running slightly ahead of schedule. If you have any maintenance items there we could look at.
Well, I have a couple of guests this evening. You recall at our previous meeting that we had the Cape and Bridge Founders Day and the Summer Harvest Fest, along with the Riverfest people, all presented you letters of their request. You tabled that action until we have our budget meetings. But the Founders Day folks, Ms. Shannon Hawkinsmith and the McMasters are here, would like to give a quick report on their success from last time and what's upcoming this time. So if you wouldn't mind, it'd be a good time.
Okay. If you'd like to come on up, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. And congratulations, Commissioner Mance and Commissioner Brill. And hi, it's good to see you again. Thank you for giving us just a few minutes here. We typically like to let you know a little bit about our festival from the previous year. This is based on survey data, and I would call your attention to the fact that the first sheet just tells you the kinds of things that we did, but on the next sheet you can see that definitely our advertising through social media has turned out to be the best advertising for us. That's what we found out from this information. And on the third page, just to go through this quickly for you, this was the best attendance and the best scores we've had for our history program since we've started. And I think part of that was due to the fact that it was local. Our presenters mostly were local, and the library had finished the book that they published, so that was a big draw. There were lots of people there involved with that. Len, is there anything you wanted to add to that? No? Okay. I would like to tell you that for the last 15 years, Lenny and I have done the Founders Day Festival, and the last couple of years we have encouraged other people to step up and take over the leadership role. And this past year, I happened to say to Shannon Hawkins-Smith, would you like to be director of the Founders Day Festival? And she said yes immediately with no hesitation. She's very enthusiastic and very capable, competent, so I'm very pleased to tell you, Len and I will stay on the committee, and we will be there for anything that she needs us to do, we will help her with. We'll ensure a good transition, but I know she'll do a good job. I'd like to have her say a word or two.
Good evening. I moved to Hampshire County in 2021. This actually feels like home to me. As a Ruritan member in Cape and Bridge, I've become very active in the community. One of the things we heard at Founders Day is they wanted vendors back. So we are bringing the vendors back this year, and we're looking to make it better than it was in previous years with more attendance.
Okay, thank you for stepping up. We appreciate that. And I'm sure Peg and Lynn do as well.
We do. And I think you've already got our request for funding for next year. So thank you for this time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all very much for your time and commitment to this program. It's very important. Thank you.
And I'll say they're not only committed to this, but they also serve as poll workers, and they're very valuable people.
Through the day.
We're very appreciative of that as well.
Thank you all.
Okay, gentlemen, moving on down the agenda. The Cape and Bridge Rescue Squad building communication with the town of Cape and Bridge. I'll just give a quick history there. The Rescue Squad building that we currently operate, HCSA Cape and Bridge out of, back in January, the previous volunteer folks that were in there had showed some interest in purchasing the building from the 99-year lease that the county leased back in 1977 or 78, I believe. Then a couple weeks ago, we received a letter from those folks saying that they no longer wish to try to purchase that building, and that they would actually rather turn ownership over to the county as it was originally many years ago. Commissioner Mance and I had instructed Chief Hamrick to start the process of talking through that. Chief Hamrick did confirm with the previous rescue squad folks there that was indeed their intentions now. And as we read over the lease, which I was aware of previously, there's also a first right of refusal for the town of Cape and Bridge in that lease as well, if they would wish to purchase the building if the previous volunteer rescue squad that was in there didn't want to. There's also a first right of refusal for the town of Cape and Bridge. So Chief Hamrick did contact the mayor, and she was not aware, at least of the details of the 99-year lease, which is understandable. It's a 99-year lease that was started almost 50 years ago, 47 years ago. So not everybody was up to date on everything that was in there. But like I said, there was that first right of refusal for the town of Cape and Bridge. So again, Chief Hamrick has scheduled a time to talk with her, and that they would bring it before the town council. I put it on the agenda, gentlemen. My suggestion would be just for to further clarify communication on the subject, I would like to propose a letter from the county commission stating where to find the lease, or even attach a copy of the lease that the county had with the volunteer rescue squad there in Cape and Bridge, and then the sublease back to the county here about 7 years ago. And just a clarification letter and a communication letter to the town council there, explaining at least what I think our position would be to simply, we would like to secure that building further so that we know we have it for continued paid EMS through the county there in Cape and Bridge and the surrounding area. And that basically would be our only goal with retaining ownership there would be, just to simply secure that as future capital expenses would be or not be needed to that building. It would make sense for us to, at least in my opinion, secure that. So that's that agenda item, gentlemen, and that's what I would propose, that we simply send a clarification letter to the Cape and Bridge Town Council explaining, first of all, the lease itself, and then that the HCSA would like to retain ownership of it, simply for the fact of securing our ability to have service there.
So, gentlemen, I'm sure you guys are aware, I'm still outside counsel for the town of Cape and Bridge. I haven't worked with the town on this file, and I won't because it pertains to an interaction with the Hampshire County Commission. I'll also have to recuse myself or abstain from a vote on this matter just because it does pertain to a municipal client of mine. But I would just say that I know the town of Cape and Bridge very well, and I think you'll find them very easy to work with and eager to work with the county too. So, however this discussion is structured, I foresee no issues.
Mr. President, would we entertain the idea of continuing to, or to propose to them that if in the event that we're not going to use that facility anymore, it could then revert back to the town of Cape and Bridge?
I would think we could certainly, put some type of clause in there that obviously if the building ever got in the situation as to where it was not providing rescue squad service to the Cape and Bridge and the surrounding area. Yeah, again, I wanted to make it very clear in our letter that was our only goal, is just to secure the building for EMS purposes. And I think, if that was something they would like in the agreement, that we could certainly, and I think that was the original intentions of the commissioners way back in 1978, was that the building be available for EMS services, which it's a different dynamic now than it was in 1977, but still, I think, at least me as one commissioner, I wouldn't have a problem with making it clear that's what it has to be used for.
Do we need a motion?
Yes,
For that
so
action?
we could draft a letter and send it to them.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, and I'll second the motion. And just for clarifications, Commissioner Brill, that would be a letter to the Cape and Bridge Rescue Squad touching on the lease itself and our goals for the building.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Motion passed, and Commissioner Mance abstained, and he gave his reasons why earlier. Okay.
Mr. President, I can work on getting that drafted and out for your approval in the next few days, so that's.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great. And Chief Hamrick said that I guess the town council chief was maybe 2 weeks out before they met.
About 2 weeks from now, and I did attach a copy of the lease, so that you have a copy of the lease to review.
Okay, they already have a copy then. Thank you, sir. And like I said, Chief Hamrick's been working with us on the communications for the building down there. Clerk, we're running a little bit ahead of schedule again. I don't know if you have any day-to-day items there we can look at.
We have exonerations, they've been forwarded to you all electronic. Those are tax exonerations from the assessor's office.
Gentlemen, I was able to review these earlier and then prepared to, make a motion to approve. Just wanted to say thanks to Clerk Strite and the team for working through the technical aspects of this this situation we've got going on. So much appreciated.
Technology's wonderful when it works.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second for approval of the exonerations presented by the county assessor since our last meeting. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
We have 3 individual packets of exemption requests for the HC and same.
Thanks, sir.
Again,
I've already seen these. So I need a motion for 6 approvals. Looks like they're all for approved.
6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion that we approve the 6 exemptions.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the recommendation for approval on the 6 ambulance fee exemptions be approved as presented. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
all right.
Yeah, I was good as. So I'm going to jump down there to board appointments. we had a particular one for HCESA with Mr. Nathan Kestner, and I believe he showed up here this evening to talk to us. So, sir, if you'd like to come up. Thank you for coming in.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you all?
Good.
Short and sweet. I did send you an email, just a quick introduction email for you all. I've been in EMS for about 20 years now. I started in Springfield Rescue. I worked my way to Romney Volunteer Rescue Squad. I got my paramedic back in 2010. Currently, I'm one of the directors over in Hardy County. I've been there since 2017. Currently, I also work full-time for Queen Anne's County down in Maryland, the first county to come across the Bay Bridge. I've been there just for a few months, very short introduction there, but it's a little bit bigger system. A lot of eye-opening experiences there already, but I'm willing to make an impact in my community. I've been suggested by several people to step into a role that's more fitting to try to just give my input, whether it's wanted, not needed, wanted. I'll leave that up to you all, but I'm looking forward to the opportunity. I think it's about time I start doing a little bit more of my own due diligence to help.
Well, appreciate you coming in, Mr. Kestner. Again, I believe both you gentlemen got a breakdown of his qualifications there that I asked him to email out to us, and we had an open seat on the advisory board, and I heard of this gentleman, and I thought he was very qualified and had a lot to bring to the table for us. So I contacted him, and he graciously agreed to serve if the commissioners so feel.
Mr. Kestner, I certainly appreciate, sorry, Mr. President, you being here. Thank you for your service that you've already done, and we certainly are very appreciative and thankful for you being willing to help us out on the advisory board and further help that board with the knowledge that you have and what you can bring to the table. So we're very appreciative of you doing that. So I would make a motion that we accept Mr. Nathan Kestner's appointment to the HCESA Advisory Board.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that Mr. Nathan Kestner become the newest member to the HCESA Advisory Board. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Welcome, sir, and thank you very much.
Look forward to it.
Okay, we also have another board appointment to consider, gentlemen, and that would be for Parks and Rec, and that would be Mr. Greg Rinker. Greg, would you like to come up?
Good evening, everybody.
Thank you for coming in, Greg.
Yep, thank you for considering me to get back on Parks and Rec. You know, I was in it for 18 years until this past July. Felt it was time with the board that we had and Mr. Brill being there for 13 years, that it was time to back up and let the new generation take over. Well, ever since I don't have much to do now, and Mr. Brill is our new commissioner, I thought it was a good time for me to get back on and try to serve the people of Hampshire County and keep the Parks and Rec, do whatever I need to do to keep them going the way that they're going.
I appreciate it, Greg. I know you were a very diligent board member in the past, and I'm sure would hold true in the future. I know good board members are hard to find, and my experience, you were definitely a good one for Parks and Rec in the past.
I would just say yes, thank you very much, Greg, for the years of service you have put in. through the Parks and Rec in the past. It has been an absolute pleasure of mine to be able to work with you on that board for all of those years. You've done a lot of wonderful things, and I think you'll be a great addition to the Parks and Recreation Board. I know they will be excited to have you back. So,
Thank you.
I will make a motion that we approve Mr. Greg Rinker for his appointment to the Parks and Recreation Board. Sorry, Commissioner Mance.
No worries. We're working through this weird timing. I would second the motion and just say thanks, Greg. I really look forward to working with you more, man. And thank you for being willing to come back and seeing how much more dedication the community can squeeze out of you, because I know you got a lot left in you.
Okay, we've got a motion on the floor and a second that Mr. Greg Rinker be approved as Parks and Recreation Board member. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed. Thank you, Mr. Rinker. Welcome back.
Thank you, Greg.
Be back.
Romans can't hide.
And now we are down to the bid opening for the electrical upgrade RFP for the courthouse improvement grant.
Gentlemen, good evening.
Evening.
Good evening.
Through the grant program that Mr. Ronkin sent out and got approved to start upgrading the electric in this building. So the grant is a 2-year, 2 phases, a 2-year grant program. And with any details of the grant, so we put out a request for proposals to do the primary coming into the building, and with 3-phase coming into the building, and it will go through and include upgrading all the sub-panels in the building. That was our first process, phase 1. Phase 2 will be switches, light fixtures a year later. Hopefully to bring this building up to have plenty of electricity for the future, and repairing what we have some panels, sub-panels that you can't get breakers for anymore. They're outdated. So we took that approach. We had 3 contractors show up at a pre-bid meeting. Power Concepts out of Winchester, Dean out of Harrisonburg, Virginia, and Metz Electric out of Cumberland, Maryland. And bids were due at 4 o'clock today, and we've had 1 response.
Okay. So that's what you handed me here.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I will go ahead and officially open the bid then.
It's thicker than a grant.
And just a reminder, gentlemen, this grant was for $100,000, of which the county has to add a $20,000 match. So we're into it for $120,000. For phase 1.
I imagine it's just the one copy in the package.
Yeah, there's only 1 copy in here. I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Hott here in a second, because he knows more exactly of how he proposed it and everything, so he can make sure we're looking at all the right numbers appropriately here. I'm assuming you haven't seen it yet, sir, so.
But it's, here, the total cost for this phase of the project is $141,480.00, $141,480.
So that would be over our initial cost estimate of doing the grant and supplement. However, we could not do it or not do it, knowing that we'd have to go a little higher than what we had originally hoped. Now, and that was for phase one, correct?
Phase one, yes, sir.
Mr. Hott?
And just to be clear, the reason we chose this as the first phase of the two phases is that the electrical is in such rough shape in this building, we can't do any kind of mini splits or anything like that for heating and air at a later time until we solve the very basics of the problem. This is a pretty large building to be single phase. So it was, the grant was written based on trying to get us to the point that at the end of the two phases, we have upgraded electrical throughout this building so we can do more.
And I think Mr. Strike, if I'm correctly, in 2012, when the survey was done on this building by the state, this was their recommendation.
Yes.
Back in 2012.
Yeah, all the courthouses in the state were analyzed, and that was one of the primary, recommendations.
Mr. Hott, and I just asked this simply because I wasn't here for prior conversation. Is there disruption to this building during this?
We were hoping they will put the new switchgear in and have everything ready. They have included in this bid, I know when we talked about that, they may have to have a portable unit for a day or two, a standby generator to set out here to power, so we wouldn't have a disruption of service.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Have we made a previous authorization for expenditure on this?
What was that again, Commissioner?
Said if we made a previous, as a commission, have we authorized an amount to be spent on this project, or was it just got to, hey, request for bids, and this is our first step after that?
I believe what we've done so far is agreed to pursue the grant, get the proposals, and basically we stated the minimum required to participate in the grant, Commissioner. Is that what you got as far as what we've done, Clerk? Yeah.
Also, I think, would these funds be spent after July 1?
I think they will. I told the contractors this project, need to be, when we do it, if the commission approves and we do a contract, they would have a year by the end of this calendar year, December 31st, to complete the project. And one reason being is that most of them in the commercial use Square D, and it's about a 4 to 5 month lag time on getting, when they place the order to get the equipment here. So there's a lag time on getting some of the main switch gear that's required.
So funding appropriations would be in next year's budget that we'll be working on here in a couple weeks.
It could, yeah.
Commissioners, I would move that we ask Mr. Hott and Mr. Ronkin to review the bid that was presented and then come back with a recommendation for expenditure, either acceptance of the bid or denial. And then we can make that allocation at that point.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the request for proposals that we opened this evening be further reviewed by Mr. Hott and Mr. Ronkin and return to the commission with a recommendation to proceed or not. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
Rolf, while we have you there, how often, so I think I understood through the one time that I looked into this program, how often can you apply for this program? So it's an enduring program, if I think I read right.
So, Commissioner Mance, the answer is, and it's a terrible answer, but it depends, depending on how much money that the courthouse facilities improvement authority receives is kind of dependent on whether or not we can go back to back. I talked to their executive director. She felt that doing this 2 phases year after year, we have a good chance of getting that money this year and next year. But
Is it an annual application period?
it's an annual application.
Sounds great.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Clerk Strike, do you have anything quick you want us to review?
Nothing quick.
Okay. Then we will go ahead and move on to the Hampshire County Arts Council funding request. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Step right up to the mic, please.
Okay. Is that good? I'm Dale Brady, President of the Board of Directors of the Hampshire County Arts Council. We've been bringing various arts to the county since 1994, 30 years. We bring arts for all ages, particularly several children's programs, and we expand into more and more arts every year, not just drawing and painting. There's a lot more to arts. In 2018, we created the Hampshire Highlands Art and Music Festival specifically to acknowledge and celebrate the artists and musicians in our county. This year, we have planned the festival for Saturday, June 7th at Taggart Hall as usual at Taggart Hall. The festival lasts one day and brings about 700 or so visitors, not all local to the county. From what we observe and hear, several other businesses in the area benefit from this event, like the Hampshire Marketplace and Co-op, as well as various restaurants. From the beginning, Ruth Rowan worked to get us funding from the state, eventually being able to have this event added to the state fairs and festival budget. The amount each year was $4,252. We were not required to apply for these funds each year, just send in a report. When we checked on the funds for the 2024-25 fiscal year, we discovered that our festival, along with perhaps some others, had been removed from the budget. We have communicated with all of the elected delegates and representatives for this area, and they have assured us that they will work to get us back on the budget for the next fiscal year, 2025-26. We are hoping that this will happen. But in the meantime, I'm here this evening to request that the commissioners consider supporting this low-key, family-friendly event. Our budget usually runs around $5,000 or a little more, depending on other donations and sources of revenue. Obviously, in a fantasy world, we would ask for the same $4,252 as the state grant. But if a request of $1,500 would be considered, that would keep us going for this year, along with hopefully other donations and monies we can raise. And I have copies of our brochure with my contact information, and you have any questions?
Okay, thank you for presenting that to us as clearly as you did. And what we have done since our last meeting, and we are meeting on the 14th to do the budget, is we are taking the fairs and festivals request under advisement. And when we look at the budget in the second week of March, then we will hopefully be able to fund what we usually do, and perhaps a little more or a little less. It just depends on what the budget looks like. But that would be my suggestion, gentlemen, is again, we take this lady's presentation under advisement until we look at the do our budget workshop on the 14th, I believe it is.
Correct.
Okay. Would you like any of our brochures, just to remind you of what we do?
Yes, ma'am. You can leave
Okay.
that with us. I would appreciate it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, and I would also say, if we make a decision and then you need help closer to the finish line, please don't be afraid to come back and talk to us. We appreciate everything you guys are doing, and we want to be there to support. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again.
So, President Englinger, before we do the next item, I was actually going to request, I think I see Director Hamrick in the audience back there. If we have a little bit of time in the schedule, would you be willing to entertain a short report from him?
Yeah, sure. Come on up, Chief.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. So we've had a busy first month for sure. We're going to be implementing the new schedule, the budget that was proposed previously and last meeting. That will be going into effect Thursday of this week. So far, we've restructured into a more fire and EMS type structured system where we have a chief, assistant chief, captain, and we'll have 4 lieutenants. All of these officer positions are probationary for 6 months. They will be going through management training during that 6-month time frame, and we will reevaluate. I believe the date's going to be September 1st. So far, we have created policy committees, uniform committees. We're involving all of the employees and the things that we're moving forward with to try to build the organization out as a whole. So we're trying to make sure that everybody feels included, building morale with the department, and also having a great work schedule for them for their work-life balance. So I think overall we're doing very well moving forward, and everyone is really becoming all-inclusive and assisting with building the organization as a whole. So, but overall, I think we're doing very well. Budgetarily, we're working on, I think we have completed the payroll budget for next year, and we are moving on with the non-fee budget. That's what I've been working on the last couple weeks. So I'm getting those numbers fine-tuned, and we'll be ready for the March 14th budget committee meeting, or budget workshop that you guys are doing. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Your biggest concerns? What are the things that are keeping you up at night, if any, or how are they shaping up?
So I think after last meeting, I sleep much better. I think we kind of got the budget in control now, and we are working very well moving forward with orchestrating the next year's budget to where it'll be much more fiscally smart moving forward, and we're going to be, working with the budget to where I think the taxpayers will be happy. The volunteers are going to feel supported to where that fee is not only helping the career systems, but we're also going to be working on helping the volunteers as well. So we're thinking about the volunteers and building the volunteer organizations and keeping them in business is our main goal. We simply can't afford to replace the active volunteers in this county at this time. We need to assist them in any way we can and keep them moving forward, and have a united front with EMS as a whole is really my goal. So I think overall we've been achieving that. Speaking with the volunteer chiefs, and they're going to be included in our HCSA board meetings as a non-voting member. I've spoken with all the chiefs, and they're going to be included and invited to all the HCSA. So I think it's important to involve them in these decisions that we're making, because it's going to affect them in the end. So that's really the goal. I'm sleeping well at night. Thank you for asking, but I think we're moving forward, and we're doing all the things that need to be done, and I hope that you guys can see that we are working hard as a whole. My team is working very well together. All of us in management and middle management and on the floor are full speed ahead, and we're working to serve the citizens of Hampshire County.
Well, I appreciate all your effort, Chief. It's I mean, there's no beating around it. It's quite an undertaking. We see across the state, you know, the EMS it's an undertaking for counties in the state. When you go to a commissioner training or a commissioner regional meeting, you know, it's always one of the top three conversation items. So I really appreciate you stepping in, and I like your aggressive approach, Chief. I've appreciated that since day one, and I really like the different efforts that we've come to as far as just thinking outside the box and doing some different things. It looks to me like it's a lot of positive going to come from it. So thank you for that.
And as far as legislation goes, Captain Turner went down to the Charleston for the legislation days for EMS, I believe it was last week. And there was a lot of good ideas. I think some bills that are going to be coming up that will help support EMS and EMS funding moving forward. If we can get those bills passed at the state level, it'll be very helpful for us moving forward, to where with our EMS fee and the state support, we really can build our system the way it needs to be built out to have proper coverage throughout the county and not struggle with funding, and also be able to help support the volunteers a little bit more. So hopefully all those bills pass and we can move forward. So
Very good. I would echo Commissioner Eglinger's sentiments. Very much appreciate your diligent work. Looking forward to what we're going to be able to do in the future. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Commissioner Mance, do you have anything?
As you keep doing good things, I would challenge you to press into the innovation as much as you feel comfortable to, and we'll hear you out and support. I mean, recruitment and retention are not easy in a rural community, but if you can come up with ideas that make sense here in Hampshire County and make sense with the community partners that we have, I'd love to hear what you're thinking on that front too. So.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with the recruitment and retention. We need to really work with the volunteers on recruitment and retention on both the EMS and fire sides. I know in other states, I'm not so sure about West Virginia, but there's some grant funding available for recruitment and retention specialists that would come into the county and help build with that. Also, I'm willing to put, during fairs, if we can go out to the fair and set up a booth for recruitment and retention, not just for us, but as a whole with the volunteer companies, just letting them know what we have to offer and how we can help the general public and get them involved. I would like to get the youth involved from a young age and start doing maybe some week-long schools or whatever we can do to get the youth. We need to build a good junior program from the ground up for both EMS and fire. If we could do something county-wide as opposed to individual companies, that's going to help us build the system out and have more people involved and wanting to be involved. So we need to get started with them young, and that's what we need to do. So, but appreciate the time. Yes, sir. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, the last regular item on the agenda this evening, gentlemen, is the Health Department mobile unit building site. I had attended a meeting there a couple weeks back, and I forwarded at least Commissioner Mance some information about that, and I've updated Commissioner Brill somewhat on the building site and the grant that we are. It's actually with the health department. The county became involved because of the site itself, the land being the county's. However, again, this is a health department project, but just for review, quick review, the site is not suitable, or at least currently, the current proposal is that the site will need extensive backfill work, for lack of a better term. But and I had attended the meeting with the engineers and the health department and Region 8 that is working that grant for us. As one commissioner only, I gave my opinion that we were not, or at least I was not interested in going down the path of a large expense to make the site right. I feel there's information within the agreement of the engineers that should have been looked at a little harder before the site was moved, and it wasn't. So there again, we are at a hurdle here on that. The results of the meeting there a couple weeks ago was that more testing would be done on the soil to see exactly how bad it was, or is or not is. And then Region 8 was going to continue to look at the grant funding itself to see whether there would be additional funds there. As you guys know, that stuff moves pretty slow, and has not made any movement one way or the other since then. But in the meantime, I do believe we may want to consider retaining Mr. Gay, and making him aware of the situation that's developing. And I brought it to the agenda, and obviously I'd like to have both commissioners comment or concerns or what we would like to do there moving forward. Again, there is efforts to get it ironed out, and like I said, that with those type of grants, that is a extremely slow process. But again, just being on top of it ourselves, I thought I would at least suggest that we inform Mr. Gay of the situation.
Commissioner Eglinger, I apologize. Have we been in touch with Mr. Gay regarding this and figured out whether or not he's willing to represent the county in this matter or look into it for us?
Not officially, Commissioner. I assume he probably will. He has always in the past taken on these type of things for us. But I first thought it appropriate to, again, since I was the only one kind of in the mix on this project so far, I wanted to bring it to the agenda and get you guys up to date and see what you wanted to do.
No problem. I saw the email exchanges. I reviewed the contract on the project with the engineering firm, and then in my email response to you, I made the recommendation that we actually do bring on an attorney to help sort this out for us. I think that there is absolutely, and I cannot and will not represent the county as an attorney, but there are grounds within that contract for bringing somebody in to look after the public's interest in this matter. I think that, oftentimes, hopefully this doesn't get drug into a big mess, but oftentimes bringing counsel on can actually help find the solution that might not be apparent right now. And it seems as though that would be a good step for us.
Mr. Brill, you have a...
I would concur. I mean, obviously, I have very limited knowledge of what has transpired with this in the past based on some of the information you have provided and the conversation we have had here. I would tend to agree with Commissioner Mance and yourself that I think this will be a wise step forward.
Okay, I would agree. Commissioner Mance, would you like to make that a motion of your statement there you just had there a minute ago?
Yeah. I would move that we request to retain Mr. Gay to represent the county in this matter, and if he accepts the request, to retain him for such.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we contact Richard Gay and ask of retaining his services for the matter of the Health Department mobile building site. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed. Okay. Clerk, have I missed anything?
We have a couple housekeeping things remaining.
Okay.
One being what you've alluded to a couple times, the budget workshop, which I have penciled in for Friday the 14th at 10 o'clock to schedule department heads to come and present their budgets, speak to the commission. It's required in the state code that the department heads have that opportunity, and they are even now assembling their projections and their budgets and getting those prepared. They will submit them first of next week to our office, where we will continue assimilating that information and putting it together, so you guys will have a fairly comprehensive idea of what's needed going forward. And we should also have a pretty good idea of the revenue level as of next week as well. So the 14th is a good day, if that suits you guys, and I wanted to make sure we had that all in agreement.
I would just ask if there's any opposition on the commission to moving that to 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
The only thing, Commissioner Mance, is it is quite a lengthy process.
Okay.
Well, my tentative schedule looks like it takes about 3 hours.
Okay, so it may be not as long as I have seen it in the past where we've been, 10 to 3 or 4.
It can be long, but I think we have a pretty smooth plan.
Okay, so if we're 3 hours and then moving it back some, I wouldn't be against that. And you haven't scheduled anybody?
Tentatively, but we can work it out.
So I'll leave that up to you guys. I'm with my other job, I'm a little more flexible, so I know it's not as easy for the other two commissioners. So whatever y'all want to do there. It is somewhat lengthy, though. It will be at least probably 3.5 hours.
I mean, I'm not opposed to 1 o'clock.
Like 12 o'clock on puts me outside of when most of the stuff that I'm working on happens. So
yeah, any time that day will work for me.
We can make that happen then.
Okay.
If that's agreeable, that's great.
Okay, so instead of 14th starting at 10, we'll start at 1 o'clock.
Sounds good. If everybody's had a good lunch, they probably won't take as long to speak. The only other things I have, Mr. President, are the estates, which I have presented to you guys electronically. but I have them here. And we also have then, of course, the invoices and two line item budget revision requests within the departments. No new funds.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do the estates then.
These are all the stuff we sent all this stuff to us, right? Via email?
Yeah. And here's, will you make the motion?
All that? I'll make the motion that we approve all the probate orders, fiduciary appointments, and qualifications, and all fiduciary bonds as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the commission approve all probate orders, fiduciary appointments, and qualifications of all fiduciary bonds coming before the clerk in vacation of the commission since our last meeting. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
Mr. President, I'll get you to sign that top one there.
Yeah.
Page 2.
So there you go.
So the first, again, this is what we call an in-house budget revision. There's just a request from the department head to move funds within their approved budget from one line to another. So when we went to the auditor's workshop the other day in preparing the budgets, they said they don't even look at this part. They don't care. It's our tool in-house. So the Planning Commission has requested to move $14,500 from their planning and zoning sub-account 2, contracted services, line 230, to the same everything sub-account 223, to professional services, from contracted services to professional services. And this budget revision will allow them to reflect more accurately the legal and engineering expenses incurred during this fiscal year. Again, this is the currently approved budget. So there's that one. And then the Sheriff's Office has requested to move $5,713 from the line item for uniforms to transfer it to the line for capital outlay. So again, within his budget. I believe those were also forwarded, I believe.
I'll make a motion that we accept the Planning Commission's request for the budget revision. You need specific line items or?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the budget revision proposed from the Planning Commission be approved as presented. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
I'll also make a motion to accept the budget revision request from the Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Okay, it's also been moved and seconded for the budget revision just discussed and proposed by the sheriff be as approved as presented. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed.
And then our invoices. Invoices and fund balances, you received all those earlier today.
Yeah, that's what this is. You just saw total monthly expenditures to this point in the month?
Yeah. And then this is individual invoices.
Okay. For each department, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'll make a motion that we approve the invoice list as submitted.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the invoice list as presented since our last meeting. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed. Okay, that does all of our business for the Hampshire County Commission this evening. Since we're running just a tad bit ahead, I would ask if there's any public comment at this time, any other public comment. We can't deliberate on anything that's not on the agenda. But if you have a question or comment about something that we spoke of today, then I would entertain that at this time. Mr. Ronkin's raising his hand. He's got a comment.
No.
Gentlemen, the county reached a milestone today, and unfortunately, Ricky Lang is not here tonight. Ricky is our driver slash recycling manager slash just about every other thing dealing with recycling. Today, he moved his 100th bin to Cumberland. That relates to almost 120 tons of cardboard that the county has recycled since October 3rd of 2023. Just to show you what we've managed to accomplish for recycling in this county, when we were doing it through Apple Valley Waste, we were moving approximately 4 bins a month. We are currently moving approximately 15 bins a month now to recycling. And we're doing it at a break even. They're paying us just about exactly within $8 to our good for what we're getting for the cardboard versus what it costs to move it up there with gas and their wages. So I wanted to give a shout out to Ricky, and of course, this is one night he doesn't show up to his meeting.
He is usually here.
He is usually here. So,
I would add, if anybody hasn't been around the recycling facility lately, it's impressive. It's neat, very together. It's working well.
Yeah, I echo that, Clerk. It's the recycling. When we started the recycling committee with the county, I was asked to head that up and work with the folks that were already doing it. And the ask from the commission was that we figure out something that didn't cost the citizens money. And this group has been able to do that. And again, a success story like this evening there, where we're getting rid of that much cardboard out of the county, and it's not costing anybody anything, and have increased the amount fourfold. So,
thank you.
It's great.
Guys are doing a good job.
Yep, very good. Thank you.
It's not me, it's him.
Anybody else? Comment or a question this evening? If not, gentlemen, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.